So for this function, things are a bit tricky, but as long as we understand how pointers works, and how we can, for example, here in the while loop, we are moving to the address of the next value each time we increase the value of I. It is the same thing we're doing here. We're moving to the next address. Then we'll have at the end uh, an array or a pointers, the pointer of the next address, but this time the length of the array decrease. Let's execute this code. Then after we're going to draw to see what happens. GCC main.c. The output file name will be main. Then let's execute the code. We have the same output, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What happens is that, let's go back to our drawing again. Right? So when you have an array like that, okay, it's not a perfect array, but I guess you understand. So the name or of the array is a pointer. For example, A, this is the pointer. Then the length for this array, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 4. So when you move the pointer to the next elements, the remaining length will be 3. And when you move it to the next elements, the length, the remaining length will be, we have an array of 5 elements here. I'm going to get rid of this one. So the remaining length will be 2, okay? So this is the technique we are using in this loop, in this recursive function. Um, we move the pointer toward the end of the array. So each time we add 1 to the pointer, it moves to the next elements, then the length also, or the remaining elements will reduce by 1. So that's why this recursive function works. We can try this with a lot of other kind of problems, but basically recursive functions, you can take a loop, and if you understand what are the inputs for this loop, you can write a recursive functions. If you also observe that we haven't, we try to change the condition in the loop into something like an if statement, then we put in the exact instructions, the same instructions almost. Then at the end of the loop here, so at the end of the if statement, we add the call to the same function. So it becomes something like a loop, but in a recursive manner. Any questions? I think this is all for today's sessions. And for any questions about recursive functions and pointers, you can still ask on the WhatsApp group, and also or send a message a DM message, I might be able to answer or redirect you to someone else. The video recording will be available on YouTube for people to watch